My name is Kalen Uno Hall.
Sean Griffith.
How y'all doing? I'm Kiana Brooks.
Hi, I'm Michelle Baisley.
Have you ever encountered challenges in finding housing that accommodates your specific disability needs?
I have definitely faced some challenges because most housing opportunities for wheelchair accessible people are for seniors, and I'm obviously not a senior. And also, most housing feel like if they put a ramp out front, then that's wheelchair accessible, but they don't realize that you can access some things in your home.
I didn't have issues with finding housing, but kind of like what she said, coming home, having to deal with having to get a ramp and the insides of your home as well.
Well, of course. I've been in the church for 8 years now, and I don't think I've lived anywhere where I ain't had to be a gladiator. Like, jump from the toilet, then jump to the toilet, then jump to the shower. Like, it does doing the most. So, but where I'm at now. Only complaint I do have is the shower, but everywhere else is cool.
So with the shower, is it that it's not rolling accessible, or what are the problems that you're
It's
finding
not
with
rolling
that?
accessible,
Hmm.
so you gotta throw the leg over and yeah.
Yeah, I know. Um, Everybody, you got anything? Faced any difficulties or challenges?
Yeah, I own a place now, but when I was renting, I would have a hard time finding a place that just had basic access. And then talking to landlords about providing that access versus just denying me the apartment, even though I know that's illegal. In real life, that's hard to kind of navigate.
Right.
And then I feel like when I was renting too, when I would ask for places or I would try to get advice from people, they would specifically say, well, I think a lot of people in wheelchairs live here instead of, well, what neighborhood do you want to live in? And like I was kind of specific that I only knew people in certain neighborhoods because I was new here, and I only wanted to live like in certain neighborhoods, and it wasn't always where there just was a lot of other disabled people.
Right.
So that was challenging. Yeah.
Has any of those challenges been discrimination for anyone? Has anyone ever experienced that while looking for housing? No. That's good.
Definitely, I've had some.
Okay.
I've had some renters be like, I really don't want you scratching up my walls
Yeah.
or things like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Um. So with that, what accessibility features do you prioritize when you're looking for housing?
Well, first for me is bathroom.
First
Definitely the
thing.
restroom, the doorways,
Uh-huh.
as far, and then the having to use the chair that you put over the toilet,
Bedside, or the
yeah, stuff
bedside
like that. But
commode and
mainly
stuff.
bathrooms and the doorways, just getting in the bathroom. For me personally.
Uh, what he said about the bathroom,
Uh-huh.
but also the sink. Like
Yeah.
the sink, I already don't like doing dishes. So if I got doing it, and her say armpit, they just be like, man, I could do this tomorrow. Then tomorrow turn it next week. But yeah, the kitchen, the shelves. I mean, cause I don't know, my daughter, she got
Hey,
a
little
habit of putting them
shorty.
up. Her, I'd be like, come on, man. So if it just wet nurse, she couldn't put it up.
She
So
just wants you to be a
everything just had to be
gladiator.
lower. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that mine are any different. I like to have a lot of floor space, so I like open concept places as opposed to like lots of little tiny rooms, and then just having a bathroom that's big enough for me to get around.
What about carpet versus hardwood?
I
Is
prefer
that
hardwood or actually vinyl. Vinyl
okay?
planks is the best invention ever.
Just glide.
Well, and it wears great, and you don't have to the vinyl stuff you don't have to tend to it like you do hardwood. Like you don't have to wax it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I prefer that, but I can manage carpet if I have to. Yeah.
Okay. What about the importance of community, like the accessibility, like as far as you were talking about what neighborhood you wanted to live in? So did that play a part in there as far as like being able to be close to the healthcare facilities or doctor's offices or anything like that?
That I can definitely. For me, I grew up in Ohio and I moved down here. I didn't know a lot of people, and so for me, it was really important to be in certain neighborhoods. I also had never lived in an apartment building, so I knew I wouldn't feel comfortable in a big high rise or huge building, and that's just me. But I still think that's valid. I think it's interesting because you get when you're in a wheelchair and you're looking for a place to live, people have ideas of what that should look like. But I really think it should start with what I want and then find a place. I think I have I had a lot of patience because I knew I wanted to stay in Crescent Hill or the Highlands. Those are a lot of old buildings, so I just knew I was willing to wait. And I know not everybody is in that position, but
Right. Right.
I didn't necessarily just give in to the first option that
Okay.
was given to me. It was really important for me to be where I knew people and knew my way around. Yeah.
Okay. What about schools? Anyone with children with schools did that play enough any part in looking for housing? Okay. Oh, who won, Baby K?
Nah, it's not with me.
Okay.
What was the question before that one?
Before that one, hold on, let's go back. What accessibility features do you prioritize when you're looking?
Oh no, you had asked carpet.
Oh, the carpet, yeah,
Yeah.
carpet or hardwood.
Right now I got hardwood.
Uh-huh.
It's light. I got these black tiles.
Yeah, scratching up.
I hate it. I think I want to try some carpet. I don't know what kind.
You just like to be a gladiator. That's all it is.
Somebody ain't got a mop every day. I ain't got a mop it every day.
The carpet you got to vacuum?
Carpet's like going through grass.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of like
You
And I'm
right.
not trying to tell you to live your life. I'm just saying.
Nah,
It's got the
definitely.
beauty of the hardwood and the nice rolling feature, but you don't have to clean it every day and you don't have to wax it.
But if I'm renting though, what could I do to stop getting black tires on my floor?
You're gonna have to stop bringing your wheelchair.
Go
Just leave it at the door.
alarm on it too.
Infuriating thing to me, I finally am in a position where I can have somebody help me clean, and it's such a huge blessing. She makes my floors look beautiful, and then
Yeah.
I don't want to move. I tell my cats and I'm like, okay, we're just here because you know as soon as you're rolling them, there's gonna be a streak. Now I just learned to, I don't know an option except for constantly clean your wheels, which is stupid.
then you have to sit until your wheels dry.
That's exactly right, because in the water.
Floor
will
dry,
floors.
because you know if you
You still gonna have the marks.
when it's semi-dry, then you just gonna track
It
it
be
back
looking
up.
like I do donuts. My time marks
I think
every
it's
which
like digging
way.
your walls too. Like you have to learn to have what's acceptable to you. Like I dig my walls and I don't even see it anymore because that's just my life. With the floors, it's just I don't know. You can't do anything about it, so I'm not gonna waste the energy stressing about it. And except when they're really beautiful after my friend cleans it, and then I'm like, oh god, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So how supportive have property owners been in like just making accommodations or any of that for you?
For me, they lowered my closet.
Okay.
I think that was dope. Took them a minute, but they
I was gonna
did.
say, did it take a while?
Yeah,
Did it take a lot of
They did.
begging and pleading? Anybody else have any issues?
I feel like my landlord is not supportive at all.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't support anything. He said that the apartment was wheelchair accessible. I cannot access my bathroom. All the doorways are so small. Like you have to make my wheelchair so precise to get through the doorway. And I'm scratching up his walls, and he don't really support that. So things like that.
That comes out of security deposits. All right. Anyone else? Anything? Okay. Are there any resources or assistance that you find most helpful when you're searching for housing?
It's kind of
Huh.
like hard when you can't together no.
Say it again.
I said that's kind of like you would think that it'll be some kind of system,
Mhm.
where it would be handicap accessible. I know
Right,
we keep
yeah.
going back to that word, but it is true. Like she was saying, a lot of people feel like a ramp makes a handicap accessible, and I don't think. I would hope most people it's not like that on purpose. I think it's just more of the knowledgeable. Who they around, or do they know personally, or deal with people. Just really into wheelchairs to know. To be around to see how we have to maneuver and live.
So the agency that I work for, Mattingly Edge, there's a division that helps with housing, and one of the things they do that I think could be really helpful is sitting down with the person and talking. And I know it sounds kind of fluffy, but it leads to something. You talk about what your home looks like to you, because like my accessibility needs are different from yours, right?
Correct.
My wants and nots. Like I don't need a roll-in shower, but
Mhm.
somebody might, right?
Right.
So talking through stuff like that, what do you actually need as far as accessibility, or what can you put up with?
Mhm.
Like what do you want in a place? Who said they wanted more space? Was it somebody was saying they wanted a little bit more space and they lived in an apartment? And like what does that look like? I think talking that through with people that that know what your capabilities are, but also kind of knowing yourself. Like I know what I can put up with and I know what I need to have, right? And then but also then talking through like what neighborhoods are available to you, and then talking through your network of like who do you know and things like that. I think that stuff can be really helpful. I don't know that I can't think of a specific agency besides what we do that does that.
So has anybody had any used any other government programs or initiatives that were for improving?
I'm gonna be real. Like right after I got paralyzed, I got shot up or whatnot. My mother passed away like a year after, so I ain't had nowhere to go. You know what I mean? I was at the hotel and had to call the coalition.
Uh-huh.
I was like, called them and they called, and the option that they gave me was Dosker Manor. I'm like, nah,
Dosker Manor.
So I'm like, what's my next option?
Yeah.
And how long do I have to still be heard till I can go there? They like, might be another month. I had my last $410, so I'm
Right.
like, I can't do that. So I had to go there.
Uh-huh.
I'm on the 12th floor. And y'all already know I had to be a gladiator.
Elevators don't work.
Come on.
I saw some videos. Yeah.
Man. So yeah, that's
So what was that experience as far as living on the 12th floor? What did that look like for you trying to get to the 12th floor?
When the thing go off and it say, do not use the elevators, like what the hell I'm supposed to do? Jump out.
Just jump
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah,
How about you
parachute.
jump? Yeah.
Parachute. But yeah, it was like every time I just be right there like, come on, man. But living up there though, it was horrible.
So were you able to get up the stairs and stuff before you got there, or was that something you had to do as you were there? Like, was that
What do you mean?
like when you first got there, were you able to get yourself up the stairs, or was that like someone helping you?
Nah,
in assistance.
I would just have to wait for the elevator.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about when the elevators were down.
That's
Did
what
you
I'm
ever?
saying, just
Oh,
gotta wait
okay.
for 'em to come
Just
through.
wait.
Yeah.
Whew. So you were stuck in the house.
Or
In the
outside,
apartment.
One of the two. It done been both situations.
How long has that been? Like you been stuck? Like
I fell asleep in the car.
just waiting. I mean, we're laughing about it. It's not funny, but we have to laugh about it. Like none of this is funny. We know that, but like we cannot just sit here and just.
But we got
Cry, we gotta keep going, yeah.
We gotta do it now.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Any other government assistance or programs?
I think an issue that I faced the most was how expensive
Yeah.
an accessible apartment is, and like if you get a government funded program, you only get so much amount of money. So what you can do, and so like you just gotta kind of settle. And so you can only settle with what you get. You can't get in the bathroom. Oh well, you don't got the funds to get it.
And kind of like dealing with the ramps, somebody just coming home to even though it might be like 3 steps, you'll think it'll be like a program or something that's gonna help you be able to get into a house. But a lot of us have to like go through ghouls and we got to rent our own
Equipment.
ramps or
Contact pushing forward.
contact. GE. I was gonna say
GE,
GE helped
okay.
me with they built a ramp at my mother's house through a program. It took maybe a year and a half
Okay.
or somewhere around there, year and a half, 2 years. But they did come through, and it was it was all free. On I think they have a program for that.
Okay.
But for that 2 years, it was a lot of either renting the ramp or having to help somebody. Having to always have somebody help you. Come and go.
My last ramp rental was around $260 a month.
Yeah.
When I was
it's
renting it,
not cheap.
it was like $260 a month to rent it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
And that's depending on the length, is it just one ramp, or it does have to be the the L shape, the L.
Wrap
Just
around.
all that gets more expensive and more expensive. Yeah.
I have a lot to say about government agencies,
Okay.
but I won't do all of that. But I feel like after working in this business and also being a person with a disability, we are not going to get real life support from an agency because the system just isn't set up that way. That's not what they're set up to do. They're not set up to see somebody who's independent in a wheelchair. They're set up to see a client who has a disability and really needs our help, right?
Right.
And so like the housing choice voucher is an excellent resource to help you pay for things, but don't expect that agency to actually help you. It has to come from us helping each other. Like it's ridiculous to me that the people that run that building thought that was acceptable for their elevators not to work. That's so insane. And if you had, and I know that you were doing the best, I'm not pointing my finger at you, but if you had 20 people behind you screaming and yelling at them like, this is ridiculous, then maybe something could have actually been changed. I think and my experience has been the most powerful things happen when like our families, like
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have a great family to support me. And I realize that that's made things easier for me in some ways, but also like they've adopted other people with disabilities and helped them. Like I'll go scream at them for you. I'm happy to go do this
Right.
for you. And I think there's a lot more power in that.
Mhm.
So I would say educating yourself on like what resources you can use that come from the government, but we can't expect them to change and be better when it comes to quality of life because that's just not what they're set up to do.
Right. Anybody else? real
I'm
quick?
done. Sorry. It just gets
No,
me
that's
fired
good.
up.
No.
That story is so ridiculous. I want to throw this microphone.
Well, with that, what'd you say? Are you still living in the apartment?
Yeah.
For a while now, about 6 months.
Have you ever
That's
met
good.
anybody that thought about living there and you were like, and you gave them advice like, yeah. No, it's not that kind of.
Well, it might be someone that like she's not from here, and they're just like, go
Like
here.
if you met somebody who didn't know
Yeah.
better and you were like, let me tell you, don't do it. Yeah, good.
So,
That's one of the few places that they, when you look in Dawson
Yeah.
County's gonna come up with what they say housing authority, somewhere,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
which is probably gonna be the same type
right.
Yeah.
of situated living environment.
And I think housing authority doesn't do a good job of educating people that they can take their voucher and go anywhere. And legally, I think, so there was something that just went through that I'm not totally educated on, but there was something, it was illegal for a landlord to turn you down because you had a voucher. Now I know it's still, in real life, it still happens, but
Right.
there was still that. But I think the housing authority in general, it doesn't do a very good job of educating people. They think they have to go to one, because I hear people say that all the time when they call our agency.
And they're just
Yeah.
not. So, how would you rate? So, we're being honest right now. So, how would you rate the availability of the information for accessible housing options?
I would rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 about a 3.
3.
I wasn't educated on anything, and a lot of the housing opportunities that was presented to me, like I said, was from seniors.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't allowed to get in there, and there was a lot of places that was like, oh, well, we only got 2 apartments that's wheelchair accessible. We can't do that. Sorry, and things like that.
It'd be like nursing home.
Nursing home.
That's where they try to send me every time.
Send you to the nursing home, first spot. They try. So
I think they don't do a good job either of educating us, like
Mhm.
what our rights are and how to navigate that. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you doing good.
I'm sorry. I think like you should learn as a young person, like, what do I actually need in an apartment? And how do I ask the landlord for a shower bench or something small? Like, how do you
Uh-huh.
navigate that? And I think there's a real lack of that information too.
So we're gonna open it up real quick right now before we dismiss for any Q&A. So anyone have any questions out here? Come on, come on.
We're so good. We gave them all the
I
info.
know, yeah.
They were like, we're done. We know.
All right.
Question, but,
Okay.
just a comment on the carpet. For me, I have both a manual chair and a power chair. The issue that I deal with, regardless of which chair I use, is the more that you leave your chair in that one spot,
Yeah.
the more it's gonna wear down. So,
Mhm.
like, I had to make sure that I have a TV out in the living room because my room is carpeted, and that one spot when I first moved in that I used to watch TV at, it's the ground. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, yeah, you mean like,
Yeah, makes sense.
Because no one really understands how much our chairs weigh. So I know my power chair is 400 alone.
then you looking for, like a spot in your own bedroom where you can still turn this way and reach the, just without having to keep moving or.
not only just that, but also the weight, like stuff that you wouldn't think, like the weight of a power chair going against the weight of your bed, your nightstand, that pulls. And that
Oh,
loosens
yeah.
the carpet every time you go in, so it's always gonna come up, it's just a matter of when.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Go ahead.
I've had a house for 14 years.
Uh-huh.
I did housing voucher from Section 8. I lived in the Section 8 apartment for 20 years before I got the house. I said I'm putting with flooring in my house except in my guest room where I left the carpet because I realized my power chair was going to leave marks on my carpet.
Yeah.
And the vacuum all the time, they rid of the marks on the carpet, so I just ditched that. I got redone my whole kitchen. I did redo my bathroom. I've got a higher toilet seat, and it's not over the top. It literally is a toilet seat that was built to be higher on a new 16.5-inch toilet that just got put in. And my bathroom sink, I had it installed high enough so I could sit at an angle in my chair and be below it. I literally had a carpentry guy build legs in the back of it. And I recently did that. I lived for 12 years without this lovely arrangement because I didn't realize what to do. And when I moved in, I had a helpful family, but they all wanted to help with different stuff. You don't need a sink like this. You shouldn't have a sink like that. You
Yeah.
don't have counter space. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And if they didn't agree with each other, I was going to be in the middle of the fight. And I thought, no. When I got the new sink, my brother found it, my sister found it, and my other sister found it, the same sink. These people found the same sink and liked it. I looked at it and said, that's a great sink, we all agree. But it took 12 years to find it.
12 years. And did you get any help or assistance with it, or was that financially all on you?
Well, actually putting in the new sink and the new
Okay.
stuff was on me. Section 8 told me when I got my house, they're helping me with utility bills. They send me a utility payment every month, and they also pay my mortgage.
Okay.
So little income, I can't do that. But they told me maintenance on my house was my responsibility. Redoing my house is my responsibility. I spent something like $22,000 to get a friend of my sister's to redo my house when I moved in. He widened all the doorways except the front door and the back door because the prisoners are different. So you gotta aim real carefully when you go in and out.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Carry your bag. And I have scrapes all over my wall. I'm gonna tell my brother I need to redo my wall. Show me how to patch my holes. I can't stand them anymore. I got them all over. You know where I've been. But that's okay. It's my house, my paint, my choice. And I do the best I can to decorate the walls. They're my walls, so nobody's gonna complain. I like my neighborhood because it's on major bus lines. which is
Okay.
one of the major things I needed. When I told the realtor what I wanted, they gave me a list of my needs and my wants, my must-haves. My biggest must-have was I must be on a major bus line that operates on the weekends. I don't drive.
Uh-huh.
I need to be able to use the bus or Target Street. I use bus more than Target Street, so I don't know how long it takes. But I got my house within a block and a half of major bus lines. I get 3 major bus lines near my front door. Unfortunately, I also run in the basement, so I could build an apartment for an acre, which I now need. And I'm in a glass house. I can't build a basement. I don't know how to raise good money. So I'm thinking about how I can do that.
Yeah, YouTube it's everything.
It is hard when you have to do things like replace your roof because there's storm damage, and your insurance is willing to pay for some, but you need $4,000 worth of boards replaced because they were replaced by the previous owner, and it cost me almost $4,000 out of pocket. No, it was almost $5,000 out of pocket, so I had $1,000 deductible on top. But
Yeah.
I put a little bit of money away because I worked before I got my house.
Yeah.
There's some disability. So it can be done, and then you have to live like a church mouse and save money up, because people have to mow your lawn for you and things like that, and you can pay them.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate that
It's a never-ending financial
and I'm
barrier.
fortunate that I live in a really nice neighborhood with older people who are actually loving and caring, and I feel them like they're extra grandparents.
That's good.
I would do anything for them because they would do anything for me. If I have an emergency, I got a couple neighbors I can call and say, come and rescue me.
Yeah.
And my family does come at 3 o'clock in the morning. If I fall, or the day that the thing on the toilet broke where the water was spraying all over the bathroom and I couldn't turn the shut off,
Mhm.
my niece came at 3 o'clock, cleaned up the water, and then went and got me a new cart to put on the toilet.
That's lovely when we have support like that.
So it is good. You do have family, you just gotta put up with them.
So anyone else have any? Okay.
I was wondering, so my boyfriend is paralyzed and we have been trying, my daily commute is an hour and a half
Uh-huh.
to work. And we have been trying to, because our current house is accessible. But we've been trying to find a condo or townhome or something local to find it, but I found that the realtors don't have a great way to filter out accessibility. They have that little checkbox, but if you check that box, it shows like 0 properties. Or we went to look at a condo that had an elevator in it, but when we got there, he couldn't even get to it because of the stairs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you can't say it's accessible if there's no accessible way to get to it. So that's a frustration that I personally experienced with trying to help find
Trying to
something
find
for us,
somewhere.
for him. And then I guess my question along with that is what items that are on the standard ADA or FHA checklist, just, they might check the box that it can be called an accessible development or property, but don't actually work whenever you're living there. I'm
That-
hearing doorway,
Yeah. Doorway.
you know.
Like it's different for everyone. So.
The only law that covers housing is the Fair Housing Act, the Accessibility Guidelines of the Fair Housing Act. And that's only for multifamily housing. So, and there's only, it's a floor, not a ceiling. And, so there should be, if there's more than 2 units together, accessibility or 4 units, which they have to comply with the Fair Housing accessibility. Which may not even be accessible to you, and I recommend not trusting any realtor. You have to go, we all help each other. I know a lot of people in this room, it's a lot of word of mouth. If you want my email, I will give you my email so we can share, the wealth of knowledge of all of us in the room here, what we learn, because that's what you're gonna need, I think, to find it.
But I do have one more question for the panel before we before we do the second session. How have you had to deal with, like, you go in initially needing this, however, when through therapy you have advanced, so now you need other accommodations. So how have you dealt with that, or has that been an issue? Nuh-uh. So like if you like so I wasn't able to, move myself or anything when I first got injured. So I needed a lot of room in my bedroom for a Hoyer lift. But prior to that, my room, I had to, um, tear some walls down, eventually. But like, as you advance in your progress and stuff, like, are you having to make accommodations to your house or apartments?
Definitely. Oh, go ahead. When you said turn down something, I just thought of my people's real on there. So when I was homeless, I went and stayed over for like after a week. She was like, "Man, can you move upstairs?"
Uh-huh.
So I got upstairs. I'm like, "Man, I gotta get downstairs somehow." I mean, right? So I tried to go backwards. Whole rail came off, but I was alright though. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But that's how I learned how to go down the steps though. Like.
Had to hold on.
Yeah, the next time I was like, I ain't gonna fall this time. But yeah, everywhere I went, I was turning stuff up.
Yeah.
I think it just came with it though. Like I said, I've been in survival mode the whole time, being a gladiator. It's like
Definitely.
cool, you don't even worry about it.
Yeah,
I
you
went
just
back-
don't even look at it. You
Yeah.
just find a way to move around it.
It's part of it.
You had anything, Sean?
One thing I will go, and I've probably been saying it the whole time, is just the bathroom.
Yeah.
Just because the mental part of just that bathroom part of it.
Yeah, when I first was injured, like for me, like it wasn't the necessity for me to get into my bathroom because I couldn't bathe myself for myself
Right.
anyway. So that wasn't my necessity. However, as I got stronger and I was able to do it, now I'm like, okay, now I need y'all to get my bathroom together so I can get in there. So I was just looking for those type of situations that you have to change.
In the apartment that I'm in, the kitchen is so small. It's
Uh-huh.
literally a walkway. So like when I pull my wheelchair in there, I gotta do everything from the side like this or like
Yeah.
this. And so now doing therapy, I'm relearning how to walk. So now I'm on my walker and I can't walk in the kitchen and
Yeah.
turn the walker to get anything out the refrigerator or anything
Oh,
like
it's
that.
that small.
So it's so small. Yeah, it's so small. I can't do anything.
All right. Anyone else up here?
I haven't had to
Change anything?
My disability will probably like degenerate as I get older.
Okay.
So I'll lose skills. So I think about that, but I haven't
Yeah.
had to deal with that yet.